What is business analysis and what does a business analyst do? If you're working in projects this year, you're probably working with a business analyst if you're not a business analyst yourself, or if you're doing your Certified Associate in Project Management from the Project Management Institute, then you're definitely looking into business analysis because 27% of the exam is based on business analysis questions. But it's not as scary as you think. In fact, I have a very simple way to describe business analysts that helps people understand what business analysts do and also helps them pass their exam. But first, who am I? I'm David McLaughlin. Over the last year, I've helped more than 30,000 students pass their PMP exam from all across the world. And I've also helped hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people through my YouTube channel with lots and lots of wonderful reviews and wonderful feedback from the people going through those courses. So what is the simple description of a business analyst? Well, it's simply this. It's 3 lines, nice and easy. A business analyst elicits requirements from customers or stakeholders, and then we ensure that the solution matches those requirements. And then at the end, we ensure that the solution had the desired effect. For example, did it increase revenue or increase customers or improve usability or whatever it is that we intended? So that's the simple description. But what does that look like in a project environment? Well, very simply, we have initiating our project and then planning, executing, monitoring and controlling and closing our project. And here are the knowledge areas that a project manager will typically go through. But for a business analyst, we mostly want to focus on the stakeholders to gather the requirements, the scope to make sure the solution matches those requirements, and then quality to make sure that it does match those requirements from our customer. So those 3 knowledge areas, if you focus on them, you'll understand the business analysis tools and process very, very easily. And if we want to go into that in a little bit more detail, here's the detailed project process, which is from the Project Management Institute, a wonderful way to see it from start to finish and all of the different knowledge areas that we have to go through. And here are the areas that we would focus on: stakeholders, potentially a business case and a project charter, gathering that value, planning out the scope and the requirements, then validating that scope and making sure that it was what we wanted in the first place. And if we want to delve deeper again, here are all the tools that we might use as a business analyst with customer measures, prioritization, modeling the environment, using our people skills to draw out those requirements. But going back to the original 3 things, so the very simple way to describe a business analyst, this is what we're going through in this short video just to keep it nice and easy, nice and short. And the first one is our business analyst elicits or draws out customer requirements and makes them visible to all. And to do that, we need customers, stakeholders, users. We need to gather the right people. So first of all, we're going to use our organizational breakdown chart or structure. In a business, we're going to see who the team leaders are, the executives and the managers, and who are the people that we need to engage to gather the requirements from. Nice and easy. Then we take the people that we need, we put them on our stakeholder register so that we have them in a nice list and what their role is on the project, what we need them for. Then we classify them on a stakeholder classification matrix and what's their influence on the project and what's the impact that our project is having on them. We want the people with a high impact and a high influence. We want to engage them the most, and they're probably going to be the people that we need to engage from the requirements perspective. And lastly, we can check our stakeholder engagement just to make sure that they're not resistant, they're actually supportive and leading, hopefully, and helping us on our journey to gather requirements and put a solution to those requirements. Now, once we have our stakeholders, we want to draw out those requirements, and we're going to need people skills and facilitation skills, workshopping, brainstorming with our team and our stakeholders. And one great brainstorming technique is the nominal group technique, where everyone can write down their requirements or ideas anonymously. So they're not influenced by the managers or the executives in the room or the highest paid person or the loudest person in the room. But know how to run a good meeting, know how to brainstorm with your team. You might use things like affinity diagrams to group all of your ideas together into similar buckets. And now we're starting to visualize what those requirements are going to look like. And now to take it a step further in visualizing those requirements and making them visible to everyone, we can use tools like process mapping to understand the flow of the process. We can use sequence diagrams and context diagrams to understand how the systems work. And this might be how they currently work, or the future state, how we want them to work. So we could do a diagram for both to show the differences and what our project might be delivering. Now we're taking these ideas that were previously hidden in people's heads and we're making them visible to everyone using these modeling techniques. We can also use 2D or 3D models, computer-generated models, mock-ups or wireframes, which is just simple drawings or ideas of what we're looking for, and storyboards, which actually flow in the same way as the system would, but it's just a mock-up or a drawing in itself. These are wonderful ways to make it visible for everyone. And once we've done that, we want to make sure that the solution, we want to work with our developers, for example, or the people delivering or creating the item, and we want to make sure that we've got a solution that is going to match the requirements from our customers or stakeholders. First of all, to do that, there are a few tools that we can use. Our requirements traceability matrix will trace the requirements to their scope or deliverable, to their test case as well. So we know that it's been tested and checked and that our scope does match the requirement. We can also use decomposition and our work breakdown structure or product breakdown structure. We've got our overall item, maybe a smaller feature or deliverable, and then the smaller activities or smaller deliverables underneath that. We're decomposing it into a user story or a work package that we can assign to someone to actually work on and complete. And as we're doing that in our work package or user story, we're going to need to put the acceptance criteria. And this is a big part of a business analyst, writing and creating that acceptance criteria. What does it take for that item to be marked as complete, to be accepted? There's a few different ways we can do it, just simple process steps, step by step, until we get to the outcome. We could use use cases. We could use user story templates. We can use given, when, then, which is behavior-driven development. Feature-driven development, which is the actor and a goal, something similar to these ways of working. All in all, it's usually process steps towards a goal. We could also add in our mock-ups or prototypes so everyone can really see what is required to be delivered and there's no ambiguity there. It's really, really great. We also might need to prioritize these, or we can help with prioritization. There's a few different ways. Moscow, which is must have, should have, could have, will not have. Cost benefit, prioritizing by cost benefit. Prioritizing by voting with our stakeholders, or prioritizing with multiple different criteria types that we choose if it's a really complex environment. So we can either help prioritize, or we may need to prioritize ourselves as business analysts. And then once the item is delivered, we want to check that it had the desired effect. So did it have the right effect in increasing customer satisfaction? Did it have the effect of increasing revenue or reducing cost, or whatever it is we intended as the benefit from this deliverable? We might use the Net Promoter Score or just customer satisfaction measures, or we can check in with our team with surveys or a retrospective where we catch up with our team and ask what went well, what didn't go well, what did we learn, and what still puzzles us. So this is a great way to get feedback on our process and see if we need to improve that. We could do a similar approach for the product that we delivered just to see if it delivered what we wanted. And there we are. So as you can see, very simple. Keep it simple. Stakeholders, scope, quality, business environment, drawing out all of that information. One last thing that I will leave you with, and I always tell people working in projects, you don't have to have all the answers at the beginning, but you do have to be able to get all the answers. And that is the core of a business analyst's skill set. They can draw out that information and draw out those answers, and that is a real superpower when you use it correctly. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.